Hey, it's King McKay. Last weekend we just had Comic-Con. It was awesome. There's a whole bunch of new footage dropped for a whole bunch of different shows, and I'm going to look through the Vikings footage that we got and see what this trailer holds for us for the second half of Season 4. Let's get into it. Okay, to start off with, we get a whole bunch of different shots of the characters that we left in the very end episode of the midway point for Season 4. We see that Ragnar's sons are going to be very heavily involved in the next season, especially Ivar, also Lagertha and King Earl. Now they're putting a lot of foreshadowing that a huge storm is coming across the Viking lands and the world, probably a huge amount of conflict happening in Kattegat, and a whole bunch of the characters we know is splitting off to different areas of the world to do fighting there.
My father has returned. Perhaps he should not have come back.
Your father's return brings calamity, chaos, tragedy and death.
I am not afraid.
You should curse the day.
Okay, so they're showing us here that Ragnar is the bringer of the storm and a whole bunch of chaos and fighting. And we also see that Bjorn's kind of judging whether his father returning was a good thing or not. So I feel like they're going to be splitting the pathways this season, and Bjorn will be doing his own thing, becoming famous like that prophecy told us he would be, and Ragnar will be doing his own thing, probably going to Wessex to be getting that revenge there, probably bringing people like Floki and maybe his sons along, and that will be one storyline, and we'll have Bjorn doing his own thing in another storyline.
You know I must go back to England. You should have gone back a long time ago.
Okay, so it definitely looks like Ragnar's going to be going back to Wessex to get his revenge for all the farming people that died long ago. So I guess next season we'll get a lot of King Lothbrok really trying to plan and strategize and see how we can defeat Ragnar, which is going to be quite hard of a task with his Vikings being so brutal. Plus, I do believe that Ragnar will be bringing Ivar and his sons with him to Wessex, and that's where Ivar will really show his brutality and strength and his leadership skills that will bring him to the top. Like we can see here, he's on the ground, he's a cripple, but he still managed to kill these two guys with a lot of strength and fast mobility, so he's really not going to let his disability stop him from being a really powerful Viking.
This map is the Mediterranean Sea. I need safe passage from my fleet. I cannot deny that part of myself which is still Viking.
Okay, so it seems that Bjorn's really going to fulfill that prophecy, and he's going to head to the Mediterranean and discover lands and take over areas that the Vikings have never gone before, breaking history like Ragnar once did long ago. Now it also seems he's going to try and get Rollo to help him do this by either coming with him and letting his ships through and stuff like that. So those characters' pathways are going to go together again, which I don't actually think it's going to be that bad, because those guys always had a good relationship. No matter what happened between him and Ragnar, his son Bjorn was always, they were always fine. Like, he always had hope that Rollo was on their side. They always worked well together, even when there's conflict between him and Ragnar. Now we see here that Loki's with Bjorn, so maybe Loki is going to head off with Bjorn to the Mediterranean stuff and not really follow Ragnar anymore, because that falling out they had in Season 4 and 3. Now with Bjorn doing this and heading off to Spain and doing his conquest and filling that huge prophecy that he had to make himself famous, and his story just really pushing itself forward, we can see the end games for these people's characters and their storylines as real characters in history coming to full realization, with Ragnar going to Wessex and him going away to the Mediterranean. It feels like we really could be ending this off at Season 4, maybe possibly Season 5.
I want you to know that I can never forgive you for taking away my husband and my world.
Man, these Vikings trailers are so straightforward. They're telling us so clearly there's going to be conflict over Kattegat between Lagertha and Queen Aslaug, whatever her fucking name is. But they're both going to be really fighting over the position of who's going to be controlling Kattegat, who's going to be Ragnar's wife and stuff. I think it's less over Ragnar now and more over the power and territory that it controls by being queen.
promise you, my son, that one day the whole world will know and fear Ivar the Powerless.
We assemble an army twice the size of the army our father took to Paris.
Oh, you must seek revenge.
We don't just declare war in England.
Their armies. How big are their armies? Hundreds? Thousands? Tell me. I need to know. Damn you!
Okay, so we see Ragnar getting captured by the Northumbrian or the Wessex armies, and we could see that he's been surrounded, he's been captured, so this could bode the end for Ragnar, because in the history books, Ragnar, the character, dies in Northumbria in a snake pit, like we saw with that foreshadowing ages ago when they threw that guy into snake pit way in season 1. But personally, I don't think that Ragnar will die this season. I think he'll be in the next season and be gone, so we don't have to worry about him dying this season. But I think the more important part of what he will be doing is he'll bring out Ivan, he'll try and encourage Ivan to fight, they'll give him a chariot as we see here, just so he can have something in the battlefield, and it'll really display his power to be able to lead and just destroy the armies of Wessex. They kind of do some weird stuff with the editing here, and they show like Bjorn and then the forces of Wessex and stuff. I don't think that Bjorn is helping out Ivan and his father kill Wessex people. I think he's gone somewhere else and just used editing tricks to make it look like they were fighting the Wessex people.
We declare war on the whole world.
Be ruthless. This is the time of war. This is the time to hate.
Okay, so definitely this entire season will be very much focused on bringing out the character of Ivan, probably a lot more than his brothers, because Ivan's going to be a really important character in history like Bjorn. So Bjorn's going to be this really awesome explorer that goes to lands and places that Vikings have never been before and conquers and has all this glory and has some great time with Rollo. And Ivan will be the person who takes over England and brings out that kind of history pathline of the Vikings. So it's looking to be a really epic season next time. We have a huge exploration and this giant fighting and wars and all this like conflict between people in Wessex and Kattegat, and then we've got the awesome exploration of Bjorn going into the Mediterranean Sea and Rome and stuff. So all of that should be so interesting for us to be able to see. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be doing a whole bunch of more Vikings videos and stuff like that as we get more clips and teasers and trailers and a whole bunch of stuff from there. I'll also be doing my Game of Thrones stuff, so subscribe for all of that. I'll see you guys next time.
Don't be afraid.